Which Doctor Who adventures are perfect for a snowy day? Here are Lovarzi's top picks. 1. The Ice Warriors. The first of our Doctor Who adventures is this rather icy number from 1967. It's set in the near future where the Doctor and his companions find the world in the grip of a new ice age. A team of dedicated scientists fight desperately to keep the glaciers from advancing using their ionizer. But very soon, the advancing glaciers are the least of their problems. A group of Martians is emerging from the permafrost, along with their spaceship, and they want the ionizer for themselves. This classic Doctor Who adventure is the first to feature the iconic Ice Warriors, who would continue to appear throughout the late 60s and 70s. Alas, 2 of its episodes are still missing from the BBC archive, but the original audio recordings have survived, and the programs have been recreated in animated form, meaning you can now enjoy this story in all its glory. And it's a good one. In many ways, this Doctor Who adventure typifies the base under siege scenario that became commonplace during the Patrick Troughton era, and you couldn't ask for a better set of baddies. The hissing voice, the menacing walk, the impractical but wonderfully realized costumes. Then there's Peter Sallis of Wallace and Gromit fame. You won't be disappointed. 2. The Seeds of Doom. In some ways, The Seeds of Doom is a Doctor Who adventure of 2 halves. The first part takes place in Antarctica, where a group of scientists uncover a mysterious pod buried in the snow. Before long, this pod splits open and unleashes its menacing tendrils on one of the hapless workers, slowly turning him into a plant-like crinoid. After this, the action shifts to present-day Britain, with the Doctor and Sarah Jane on the tail of yet another pod, which has been stolen by a mad horticulturalist known as Harrison Chase, who sent his goons to Antarctica to pilfer the eponymous Seed of Doom for his private collection. So whilst this isn't quite as snow-filled as the Ice Warriors, you'll still want to wrap up warm, not least to shield yourself from the icy Harrison Chase and his lackeys. Overall, this is an action-packed and surprisingly adult Doctor Who adventure, in a similar vein to the 1982 horror movie The Thing. Perhaps John Carpenter and his team were inspired by the Time Lord's adventures. 3. The Unquiet Dead. Believe it or not, before 2005, there hadn't really been a Christmas-themed Doctor Who adventure, save for the festive segue in the midst of 1965's The Dalek's Master Plan. The Unquiet Dead by Mark Gatiss is the very first and sees the 9th Doctor and Rose encounter Charles Dickens on Christmas Eve, battling an army of ghosts. It's like a mini, unofficial Doctor Who Christmas special. As you would expect, the references to Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol are obvious, and unashamedly so. It's clear that Gatiss is a huge fan of Dickens' work, and in many ways, The Unquiet Dead is something of a love letter to the writer. It's also notable for the guest appearance of Eve Miles, who would later return as Gwen Cooper in Torchwood, playing a distant relative of her character from The Unquiet Dead. 4. The Snowmen. If you were disappointed that the 1967 Doctor Who adventure The Abominable Snowmen wasn't actually about snowmen, then the 2012 Christmas special more than makes up for it. This is the real deal. Real snowmen made out of real snow, coming to life and terrorizing their victims like any good Doctor Who monster. Although it's not entirely accurate to say that these villains are made of real snow. The snow is actually a frozen life form containing the Doctor's old enemy, the Great Intelligence, which manifests in snow form and builds a frozen army for itself, which the Doctor must defeat. This was an interesting Doctor Who adventure in that it transpired to be a prequel to the second Doctor stories, The Abominable Snowmen and The Web of Fear, with the latter story even being directly referenced. This was ironic, given that The Web of Fear would be returned in its near entirety a few months later, courtesy of missing episode hunter Philip Morris. Perhaps Stephen Moffat had a TARDIS. The Snowmen is also notable for its guest star Richard E. Grant, no stranger to the Whovian, as he'd previously appeared as the unofficial 10th Doctor in The Curse of Fatal Death and the almost official 9th Doctor in The Scream of the Shalka. He plays the wonderfully villainous Dr. Simeon in this adventure, who has been possessed by the Great Intelligence. He would continue to appear as a recurring baddie throughout Series 7. 5. Last Christmas. Prepare to be both terrified and confused. Last Christmas is like a blend of the aforementioned The Thing, Alien, and the 2010 movie Inception, with some classic Doctor Who quirkiness thrown in for good measure. This is festive sci-fi horror at its absolute finest, and, in a bizarre twist, even includes Santa Claus as a central character, played by the comedy actor Nick Frost. To elaborate any further would spoil your enjoyment of the story, so really the best way to enjoy this Doctor Who adventure is to just sit down and watch, with no preconceptions. Certainly after seeing the mini-teaser at the end of Series 8, where Santa Claus turned up in the TARDIS and asked the Doctor what he wanted for Christmas, fans may have expected something of a lightweight comedy offering for the 2014 Christmas special. But Last Christmas is the exact opposite. There are funny moments for sure, but this is perhaps the scariest Doctor Who Christmas special of all time, and there's a lot of snow. So there we are. These aren't the only snowy Doctor Who adventures, of course. Which one is your favorite? And which stories would you add to this list? Let us know in the comments below.
This is my favourite Doctor Who merch thing basically of the year, I think. So it's the Lavalzi 13 inspired...
Sorry, I just covered you up.
13 inspired scarf. It's just so lovely.
What's lovely about this is that it's not an exact replica of her scarf, which I actually think for me would have been a too bright a scarf anyway.
It's a bit more muted.
So it's more muted, but the stripes are exactly pretty much the same as the stripes on her shirt. So it's like her shirt as a scarf, but she already has a scarf that's quite similar to this as well.
It's really soft, it's really lightweight. It's one of those scarves that you can like
me so
wind
warm.
round a few times.
The brand and repping my love for Doctor Who without being over the top, or like if I'm walking around the office, people might not necessarily know that it's Doctor Who. Fashion. So this is, I think, $24.99 from Lavalzi, so not crazy expensive, I think, compared to like maybe like the Tom Baker scarves.
Well, like the Paul Smith scarf, for example, that Jodie actually wears is about £80.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Something like that. So if you just want like a day-to-day lovely scarf, the quality of the Lavalzi one is really lovely.
It's just such a good, like, I think it's honestly, like you said, probably one of my favourite pieces as well, because it's like properly curated, like fan piece. It's not like a replica or a sort of tacky bit of merch.
Yeah, it's like a new bit of merch.
It's just really nice. I really like it. So this, I think on the website, is called the Doctor Who laptop bag, but I actually use it as like a travel bag because I don't know if you can see, but it's really quite big.
Quite substantial.
So I take overnight stuff in this. Like I brought all my stuff here with my laptop and some books, some clothes and stuff here to Kez's. If I go to my mum's, I'll take all my stuff in it. If it's a laptop and much more. It's really nice. It does come with a long strap, which I don't actually use, and it's at home. But
you can pop it on your shoulder, or you can have it in the crook of your arm, something similar.
Like fashion, darling.
Yes. It's got a nice zip at the front. I mean, I'm just showing the fact that it has a zip. It has another zip for the main bit. Fancy that.
Inside, it's got a total of 1, 2, 3 pockets, 3 pen holders, which I had not noticed, and also straps inside. Oh no, there's one massive pocket. What's this for?
I think that's for the laptop.
Oh my god, there's like an actual pocket for the laptop. Oh my gosh.
It might also be good if you go to the gym. Like it would be a good gym
it'd be a great
bag.
Gym bag.
Or something similar like that.
I agree.
But yeah, definitely for like overnight stuff. Like if you were going for a weekend away or just staying with family or something.
Yes, I really like it. I think it's a lovely gift for if you want to get someone a bigger present, or if you want it for yourself, just like if you need a new bag.
There's a nice variation of things here with things that are more kind of gifty, and then actually what if your friend actually needs a scarf or a bag or a purse or something similar.
It's something that they will use as opposed to like something that's maybe a bit, not tacky, but like maybe something they wouldn't use. Do you know what I mean? Like if there's only so many TARDISes you can go.